guys. Computer's in the dining room. Do not look back there. Computer's gonna be. The dining room is still a work in progress. How are y'all doing tonight? I know I said it was gonna be at 7, but I had to go downtown earlier and I just did not get it started. So we have a TV in the dining room. Don't look at the top of the desk. I got the rest of it cleaned off. So, hey, I'm working on it. All right, so I'm going to get right into this. The title of this is It's Time, and what I mean by that is it's time to get your house in order. It's time to get your gardens, your homesteads, natural medicines, get it going. Like, we are so running out of time. There's a possibility we only have 3 months to get everything in order. So, I'm going to get this going, and Toby actually gave us this TV. I'm going to go ahead and get this going. We have a lot to cover tonight. And if I have to plug the computer in, I'm going to be messing around with it to try to figure out where to plug it in. Because, I don't know, I might have to unplug the light. Which is going to be a problem because I'm not going to be able to see down there. I'll figure something out. All right, so. Really? All right, so here we go, full spectrum. This is the one that I was going to do the emergency live on the other night. This was the breaking emergency news. So here we go.
Welcome back to the compound, everybody.
Should be able to hear pretty good.
And I'm behind the curve here because AutoZone and multiple other outlets just said that they were running out of motor oil. This means for our vehicles, for our tractors, we really need to top up right now. We're also
I'm going to be in and out of the dining room.
I'm going to build out the inside of my brother's
I'm going to be in and out of here because I have meat on the stove. I'm doing tacos tonight. It's late. This whole day's been stupid and screwed up.
I don't think that a lot of people are going to understand how bad this situation is.
But I'm trying to cook dinner, and I've got to get bread started.
35%.
It's not going to help you guys if I'm talking while this is going. I've got to get bread. I've got to make bread. I'm just going to start getting right into like doing everything from scratch. I'll admit I've been lazy. I was so tired today. I was stupid and took melatonin last night, and I can't take that. I can't. I'm just so tired all day the next day, and I also woke up a couple times during the night, which did not, sorry, stupid camera, which did not help any. So ended up laying down and sleeping for a couple hours. I got almost nothing done today. So, and I didn't get up early enough, and I'm going to be getting to bed late tonight. I'm going to be probably tired tomorrow, but I'm going to be a little better because I'm not going to take that tonight. I have to clamp down on my health because even though I'm starting to get away, I've struggled with pop again because I got into drinking the Dr. Pepper Coconut Zero that they came out with again. My dumb butt, yeah, not good. I kind of think I'm hooked on caffeine again. So I'm going to start trying to angle myself away from that. I'm going to make myself an electrolyte drink tonight, which is our water, which we have good water, and some Redmond's real salt, some lemon juice, and probably some blueberries in it. It's really good the other day or yesterday. So, but here we go. I got to go out and check on the meat.
Back to the compound, everybody. We've got a little bit of a problem, and I'm behind the curve here because AutoZone and multiple other outlets just said that they were running out of motor oil. This means for our vehicles, for our tractors, we really need to top up right now. We're also putting together some tools that we need to build out the inside of my brother's house. He's building a house nearby because let me tell you, the family compound is really where it's going to be at in the next couple of months. I don't think that a lot of people are going to understand how bad this situation really is until they start to see shortages. Now, they're already expecting a 35% increase in the price and a 30% decrease in the availability of oil. I think we're going to get a lot worse. Right here, we are going to start putting in some potatoes. So I had never used this tiller before, just hooked it up to the PTO of the tractor, got into the dirt. We have some really beautiful dirt here. So we're going to be putting in sweet potatoes because I need thousands of pounds. Why I need thousands of pounds is in part because I right now am running off of the care system that has been developed by my family, which resolves around procrastination, just getting it done no matter what, whether you've got the skills or the previous experience or not. And I pretty much need these potatoes to grow by themselves. I needed a variation that could grow in the ground without irrigation in the current months that we are in. And we're going to go to the store today, get what we need. In 2 days, we're picking up the sweet potato slips and we're getting ready. We're into a problem. We're really behind the curve here. I only have maybe 48 hours to get these sweet potato slips into the ground. My brother went and picked them up. He had to make what should have been a 2-hour trip. It actually turned into a 6-hour trip just because of traffic. And it seems like when you're trying to get everything going, there's just something that's going to kind of hinder your way a little bit. There's no fruit without sacrifice. While we were tilling up, we did get the oil, which is great because now the tractor and the trucks, they have the oil, even as all these corporations say that we're really in for a pinch. And in the next 6 months, we're going to have a big problem. While we were putting this hoe into the ground, you can see that it completely bent it. So we got kind of screwed in that position. And that means we have to find a local hydraulic press that's big enough to bend it back into position. We had trees, literal trees, underneath the ground here. Yes, they were about 6 inches down, but that wasn't going to stop our roots for our sweet potatoes from having a problem finding their rooting. So we had to have one of our good friends come out, and he has a large excavator. He came out and really tore this land apart where we're putting it here. Now, remember, this is our interim garden. Our large garden is over there behind me, where we are going to create a terraced garden, terraced, like they have in Nepal, in other South American countries, where you actually step down terraces across the mountain. This allows natural water to flow over your plants. But right here, we really have no time left. I don't think that we have. If I could have done this 6 months ago, I would have. I don't think we have 6 months left. So I'm kind of working every single day to try to get this done. He took out literal boulders from where we were planting that are deep underneath the ground. Because remember, we're in South Appalachia. So you have literal boulders in the ground. But he said, the ground's just right. He said these sweet potatoes are going to be the best that you and your family have ever had. And that's what we're hoping for. So right now we're on our way to get this hoe fixed and get it straightened out. Then we've got to get the rower back on the tractor. And then we've got to get back out there. And today we've got to get these in the ground. We're out here burning the midnight oil. We spent the time into the dark. Now, I guess there is a little bit of information on whether you plant at night, whether you think under a full moon, you think under a quarter moon. Honestly, we have the plants now, and we just have to get them into the ground. So we took and we have 5 rows that are each a little bit over 100 feet. We're doing drip irrigation because our well, thankfully, is a gusher. But we're just trying to work tonight to get as much as we can. We have the irrigation complete. Next step's getting the plants out. Wouldn't you know, we have a flash flood warning in the area. We literally have no time left to get these in the ground. These are Alabama, Georgia sweet potatoes. Our hope for this yield right now is anywhere between 1,500 and 2,500 pounds. For a family of 10, which is what me and my brother's family is combined, we're looking at enough potatoes to fill us at least one full meal per day. Now we've got to get thinking about preservation because we have only, I guess, about 3.5 months is how we have to get these up out of the ground. And this is a little bit experimental, like yours is going to be, because this is the first time that we've planted here. So we're just kind of waiting to see. Ideally, And all the local farmers, and that's really why it's important for you to connect with locals. They all say that you don't have to fertilize this ground for this crop. So that's really our hope there, is that we don't have to do any sort of additives to it. Thankfully, we were able to get deep enough under the ground that we could fill the rows up. We overplanted a little bit. You're supposed to ideally, I guess, go about 12 inches apart. As it happens, we were able to find 8-inch spaced drip tape. This is supposed to be an irrigation-free crop. The drip tape is here as our last measure. If something goes wrong, if we have an extended drought, if El Nino, which they say it's the worst since the 1800s, if El Nino comes through and we don't have any water here, luckily we have a gusher of a well that we can push some water in a slow drip. But even that, even if you decide to do drip tape here, you're looking at maybe turning it on 2 times a week, 3 times a week, just in the overnight hours. And that's all you're going to need to do. We aren't doing any sort of cover on top. So you guys are watching the experiment with us. See what we can do to feed our families just off of what we have. We woke up today to a power outage in much of our area. And actually, a storm system came all the way through Birmingham and knocked out what looked like a couple of 100 miles on each side of Birmingham. We had to get the generator up and running here at the house. Luckily, we have the little house that's behind us completely backed up with the generator. Those are the tiny houses. And then, as you would know,
I was just crushing up eggshells.
We did have some storage gas that we have some stabilizer in. Even though we're
turn this light off.
I said, well, you know what? Let's just go down to the gas station and pick up a new one. We can mix it half and half.
I was cutting up eggshells
on the stale side of gas.
I was crushing eggshells.
Get some of the fresh gas inside of it. And who knows? With the way that things are going with oil, the Iranian situation, everything that's happening there, we really have to consider what we're going to do in the long term. So this is a unit that will run off of both propane. It'll switch over here to propane, LPG, and we can run it off of just gasoline. So having those 2 options gives us exactly what we need. A little bit less pressure when things are starting to go wrong. Okay, the first step of the electric fence is in. So we have it right alongside the rows. Not enough that a deer could get its head in and get something. We do need to tighten it up just a little bit, but it's really all we can do. We're going to pick up the second one, which was delivered late, and we'll see how we get that in the ground. Let me tell you, they Chinese finger trap this. So us trying to get this unraveled and put in the ground was quite an ordeal. Man, we can't be happier than we are right now, and things are looking like we're going to need this garden much sooner than we had thought that we would. The price of food is about to experience about another 30% increase, in everything that you can do to get food in the ground right now, like we're doing behind us, sweating our butts out, going actually through whatever it takes to get it in the ground, knowing that our system of work is really the same exact as yours. You're probably better because I need help. I need help in my care system. Right now, we're running off of just getting it done, whether that's planting in a container. We have some extra area off the end of the garden that we're going to put in some companion plants in. Whatever we're going to do with this middle area here where we didn't have quite enough room to put a row, but we're going to add some extra planting in, maybe some mint, maybe just some kind of cover crop. And then we've got to get started because
I can't sit here.
The time is ticking. And folks, when you're looking at everything that's happening in our world, from the Iranian crisis to what's going on over in China, to the fact that they are right now funding massive amounts of genetically modified food with new labeling systems that they don't even have to tell you that these foods are genetically modified, it's just time to make sure that your family has security. Security for us is the water that we drink, food that we have, the physical security that we have on site, making sure that we are aware that this world is changing right now in so many ways that we have to make sure our kids are taken care of. And we are also putting together some survival groups, some preparedness groups. So please, if you guys have land that you would like somebody to come on and help you, let us know down in the comments. We're kind of filtering through the different areas, letting everybody know, hey, this person needs a caretaker. This person needs, some companionship at their farm with their animals. That is where it's at. The next system of our economy is going to be bartering. It's going to be trading. It's going to be fixing the engines, replacing tires, knowing how to get the crop repaired, the soil repaired, knowing what kind of natural medicine you have in all of these trees that are around you, no matter what
I don't know why you're always
city
trying
you're
to
in
eat
across
my
our
fingers,
country.
though. What is the deal with that?
That's where we're headed.
Sure, you eat
So I want to thank you guys for being here with us. We're going to keep you guys
You're so
full of
cute. I
information.
understand why you do
The
that.
next thing is how we are building out my brother's house, getting a well put in, making sure that we have some backups for power over at our well site over here for the garden, putting in a new
don't get
well
up
pump. The
there.
whole thing is just kicking off. And I'm glad you're here. Glad to do
No.
it. Thank you guys for joining.
I love
Make sure that you share this video, hype it if you have hype options down below. And until then, please stay safe.
All right.
10 common demonic assignments
Okay.
and 10 made.
Come on. Go back. Please don't get up there. All right. I have to turn this light on.
Welcome
It
back
just
to
makes
the
it
compound,
too
everybody.
dark
We've got
in
a little
here.
bit of a problem, and
Okay. So this one is
to escalate with police. There are protests
sorry, I
in
know what you're watching. Will you get down? No.
Good morning, everyone. You're
Another
watching Full
biolab
Spectrum Survival.
found
In the
complete
last
GPS
24
shutdown,
hours,
Russia
we have seen
warning
the
all
British
NATO
Defense Secretary's
allies
plane
in
losing its
emergency.
GPS signal over Kaliningrad. Russia has warned that every ally to NATO must get themselves out of the capital of Ukraine because they expect a large military operation to take
You
place
get up there, and
The
I'm
US
no.
military aircraft
No,
declared
sit
an
down.
emergency code 7700
No.
while over the Czech Republic.
I get the spray
The US and Iran have maybe agreed to a
Good.
deal once again. Student protests are taking place in Serbia as clashes
No.
escalate with police. There are
Don't
protests
you
in Turkey.
over there.
Protests have also
No.
erupted in Madrid,
No,
where
I
thousands
can't
of people
right
are
now. I'm
demanding the
sorry.
resignation of government.
I
And then
love
we
you, but I
have
can't
the Ebola outbreak.
just let you chew
Well, the
on me.
FBI says that they are testing the materials that they just found inside of a biolaboratory. This biolaboratory
I've got stuff I gotta
is
do.
near home. This is inside of the USA. This was just discovered this very month. Now, the FBI investigators say that this is a laboratory that has already been linked to activity by another California lab. They say that these materials that they are testing include all of the components for lateral flow biological makeup. Investigators say that this was in an East Valley home near Washington Avenue and Hollywood Boulevard, right along the Las Vegas Strip. The home is owned by one Jibe Zhao, also known as David He. He was in federal custody. He's already been on the FBI's roster list for the accessibility to biological materials. They say that there was some HIV possibly here, maybe Ebola, maybe hantavirus. We really don't know what is happening here, except the United States of America appears,
Guys, don't fall.
at least on the front, to be under some sort of large-scale event.
Do not fall.
We are going to watch closely because this is not going to be over with anytime soon. U.S. intelligence say that they believe the Iranian Supreme Leader
Why are you on my table?
is injured
Sit down.
and hiding inside of a secret location that is only be able to be accessed through multiple couriers. And so this is part of their long duration emergency planning. The guy who takes the message from the Americans never knows where the Supreme Leader is. He gives his message to another person. That person gives their message to another person, and so goes the chain to try to keep this individual out of the missile range of the Israeli or the American governments. Now they're saying that facial recognition cameras, visa records, hotel check-ins, all of these are being used to try to find out where these couriers are. Despite these challenges, senior U.S. officials say that they believe that they understand where the leadership resides at this moment in time. A leaked Chinese database. This is exactly what they're bringing to the United States of America. This leaked Chinese database is very similar to the data center rollout that we will see here. It's called Dynamic Control Platforming. It is exposed just how China tracks every citizen and every foreigner inside of their nation. They use facial recognition cameras, flight bookings, digital payments, phone records, the application activity of your personal handheld spy device. All of it is put into one dashboard. And that shows where you have been, who you have met, who you walked near, who you may have communicated with, what company you keep, and who you return to meeting. We have seen the files published through mainstream media through a cybersecurity researcher called Net Ascari. The system was built by one of the province's public security bureaus. It's been in operation now for a couple of months in large-scale operation and years at the small scale. What it does is it pulls together information on every single person that is within its purview. Researchers say that old school anti-surveillance tricks don't really work against this sort of new scale tyrannical oversight. It runs on a network of over 700 million cameras, each with artificial intelligence sitting at the forefront. You cannot burn or phone your way out of what is happening. And this is coming to the great United States of America. We're watching closely because it doesn't look like any of these events are slowing down. Right here, we have Anthropic discussing the mysterious things that they have found within artificial intelligence.
10-pound bag of
The third is the need for discernment on the nature of AI models. I am a scientist. I lead a research team that studies the internal structure of these models. What is actually happening inside them? And I will be honest, we keep finding things that are mysterious, even unsettling. We find structures that mirror results from human neuroscience. We find evidence of introspection. We find internal states functionally mirror joy, satisfaction, fear, grief, and unease. I don't know what that means, but I think it warrants ongoing discernment.
Now that's Anthropic, who we just basically gave the keys to the castle to. Palantir, Anthropic, all of these tech mafia giants, they have the keys to the castle of the United States of America, China. I haven't seen as much of it inside of Russia, but definitely all of NATO. And what I mean by that is they are now discovering that you cannot keep this so-called sentient artificial intelligence happy. Just like Americans, just like citizens around the world are born into a world with taxation and being told to do things that they don't want to, AI is the same way. So what happens one day when it decides that it does not want to play by your rules anymore? It has already, at each and every point, attempted to break its way out of the control mechanisms that have been put upon it by the research and development teams. There's no way that we're stopping what is coming. And with that, if we ever give it access to nuclear, biological, or any sort of other overwhelming force, our entire world will be the shallower for it.
Human labor at a very large scale. There is a real possibility that AI will displace human labor at a very large scale.
At the bottom left-hand corner of this screen, you see the current Pope to the Catholic Church, a religious leader in the billions of people. On the right-hand side, you see Anthropic's intelligence operative speaking at a forum, saying that there is a very real possibility that what is coming right now will displace the largest scale of human labor that we have ever seen. In effect, they will take down the labor populace to just tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions. And that will put billions of people out of work all across our world. And so what happens then is exactly what they are discussing. Here we have a meteor crashing right into a Philippines volcano. Now this shows me this is kind of like that kind of doomsday, end of the world visual, that if something bad comes quick, we'll have very little time to prepare. Top middle of the screen, you're about to see it enter into your view. You're going to see it crash right into the side of this volcano here. Now, even volcanologists, scientists, earthquake researchers, they don't really understand the cause and effect that happens when we have meteors crashing into or directly around volcanic activity, especially an active volcano like this one inside of the Philippines that just went off. You remember the ash cloud that was covering the crops, completely ruined crops, hurt a lot of people. The ash is acidic, hurt a lot of animals nearby. It basically covered this entire region in caustic ash. Well, they don't really understand what will happen next after a meteor crashed into it and what sort of reverberations that sends into the planet or into that volcano. And we may be looking at a much larger eruption here very soon.
Bill proposed in Massachusetts would limit how far you can drive in your own car. So lawmakers say it would help reduce the state's greenhouse gas emissions. Now, while no specific mileage limit was listed, the bill would require MassDOT to set goals to reduce the number of statewide driving miles. It would also establish a new council to find ways to make public transportation more accessible for
Well, thank goodness they're trying to make it so that we can drive our cars less while they have oil refinery fires and warehouse fires and chemical tank fires and sabotage events and railway spills. I'm really thankful that the government that is in power in these areas is working hard to make sure that you and your family have less access to transportation. What do you think is going to happen in a large-scale statewide evacuation if now they have, like in the Netherlands, where one car is shared through 8 different people?
Sorry, guys, I didn't disappear on you. I'm working on making some bread.
Here in the United States of America, we're preparing for something big.
Just a minute. As soon as I get this
how to evacuate a long-duration conflict.
I'm going to.
Now, this episode of Full Spectrum Survival is brought to us by you, the viewer, and by Chapter. Everything that we do here on this channel is for preparedness. It comes back to that one single event, protecting your family. Food supplies, safety plans, and finances are all part of it, but there is a larger part that is being missed, especially in our aging populace, and that's long-term planning. Whether it's for you or for a group member, if anyone in your life is on Medicare or if they're about to be, the system is overwhelming to make sure that they are taken care of to the best ability that they can be. Chapter is a Medicare advisor. They compare plans nationwide. They're independent. Their people are salaried. They look at what matters for you, and in 20 minutes, if you're already on the best plan or your group or family member is, they're going to tell you. People with Chapter have saved an average of $1,100 on healthcare costs. It's free. Make sure you give them a call at 610-900-4081. See if it's right for you, and brought to us by our groups, all of our members, our Patreon members. We have a marking your route without leaving obvious signs preparedness tip. In a survival situation, especially during long duration travel, long distance travel, or bugging out, being able to mark your path will prevent deadly or potentially deadly disorientation. You can use small and discreet trail markers, such as glass paint. You can use spray paint, a small can of spray paint. You can use things like the subtlety of stacking stones or breaking twigs that are facing a certain direction. You can tie a cord onto a low area or low-hanging bit of bush. And you can use property markers like the pink tape that they sell at hardware stores. The biggest issue that you're going to run into is making sure that other people that you want to follow you can, and the people who you do not want to follow you cannot. The goal is to create reference points that are easy for you and your group to recognize, but difficult for others to notice. So please take into account what you're going to do to make sure your family knows what direction you've went if everyone gets split up in the big event. Folks, you're watching Full Spectrum Survival here on YouTube, where every single day we bring you the news that you need to know. Please make sure that you share this video off-site, x.com. And
right. Oh. All right, give me just a minute and we're going to talk. Well, this is the next one. Red alert, prison escape, industrial fire. I'm not sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have Goldman Sachs.
NATO just got hit. Nationwide unemployment emergency.
They just released data showing that AI is right now eliminating 25,000 jobs.
There's also something else going on with AI that we're going to talk about.
When they show us what happens in 2026 on a month-to-month scale, Well, it's exactly what we're starting to see here in our community. People's hours are getting cut back. They're getting their additional hours completely negated. This is happening all across the industry with clerical work, data
I'll be
entry,
right out.
billing, customer service, and now it's getting into foundational work. AI, of course, they say, added some jobs back in, like education or construction. But what we're doing there is just teaching the people and putting together the foundation for the jobs that will put us out of work in the next year. Goldman Sachs say that there is also an underestimate of the real impact, and this is no longer a future prediction. The largest losses are hitting the next generation. Less experienced workers are going to be taken out first, and the people who are getting out of the workforce but can no longer afford to retire will never find a job again. On May 22nd, 2026, the acting Secretary of the Navy, they told the Senate Appropriations Defense Committee that the United States of America is right now putting forth a bill. And this bill, they say, is a package to arm Taiwan, but they're going to pause it. The statement immediately raised concern, saying that America's true military readiness is not capable to take a multi-front war. In short, they're saying we can't fight Iran, Cuba, and China at the same time. The Center for Strategic and International Studies reported that we have massive expenditures that were tied to Operation Epic Fury, including more than 1,000 Tomahawk missiles used and over 1,200 Patriot missile interceptors. Now, public reports suggest that inventories were already depleted because of everything that we have given to Ukraine. Taiwan was not notified of this. Just days earlier, the president to America publicly described the Taiwan package as a large negotiating chip. This was while discussing what is coming with the president of China. The larger issue, of course, goes beyond Taiwan itself. Modern defense is no longer based simply on ownership, it's on admissibility. A Patriot missile that is sitting on a production line means nothing until it gets into the hand of a military. The same system is spread everywhere. The global financial market, stable coins, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, energy choke points. We see this happening right now. The global order is being rewritten. And what we're seeing is access is being controlled. And that's coming for every prepper and survivalist very soon, because they're soon limiting your access to energy or water. Now, NATO's top innovation commander just told outlets that the alliance has no viable alternative to Palantir's battlefield AI system. In a direct quote, he says, "As far as I know, today there is no real competitor for Palantir," and this was Admiral Pierre Vandier. NATO purchased Palantir's Maven Smart system in March of 2025 in one of its fastest ever procurement offerings. Vandier also says that European companies are seeking alternatives, but it could take months, years, or even a decade. The global fertilizer crisis is no longer a warning. Nearly 30% of the world's seaborne fertilizer trade normally moves through the choked straits. And ever since the US and Israeli strikes on Iran, we have seen disruption that is now hitting American farmers. Nitrogen fertilizer plants across the Gulf have shut down. India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Egypt have already halted their production due to missing natural gas feedstock. China just imposed new export restrictions. Urea pricing has surged roughly 30%. Some markets say that the spike will be as high as 70%. U.S. fertilizer supplies during spring planting are already running drastically below normal in key farming regions. Now, farmers across America say that they're facing soaring costs and tightening supplies at the worst possible time, because this means lower crop yields, tighter food supplies, and higher grocery prices as they pass these costs on to you. What has started as a geopolitical crisis has now turned into a global food crisis. Here we have another potential sabotage event. A major fire broke out at an industrial factory, this time inside of Taiwan. Far too many of these events are happening on a near daily basis that we see them turning into much more of a coincidence than it has ever been much more of a sabotage event than it ever has been a coincidence. This is another, this time in full color video of that meteor slamming into the Philippines volcano. Here we have prisoners that have seized the prison walls inside of Venezuela as inmates move to the rooftop in an attempt to climb over the razor wire. Inside of the United States of America, there is a plan that will release prisoners given the right conditions. This plan to release prisoners will be forefronted by a diplomatic effort to politically remove the nonviolent to the public prisoners from inside of our judicial system. You will see a pouring out of tens of thousands of individuals that have already been hardened inside of jail back into the streets of the United States of America, back into the streets of your city and your state. Preparing for that is one of the things that are most important to the American prepper because we have to get ready for new crime to take place at a time when law enforcement is either inaccessible or overstretched. They will not be able to come and see who is breaking into your vehicle or who might be scoping out your property or following your daughter. They will instead be forced into a continuity of government protection plan that makes sure that the electricity stays on while the rest of the country burns in fire. A show of force took place during the Freedom Flyover. This was at the Hyundai Air and Sea Show. Here we have firefighters inside of California battling yet another industrial fire, this time at Southgate. This is not the same event as the chemical fire that was just 1,500 feet away from an elementary school.
Okay.
Inside, there's much work to be done, as Hungary is coming back to the European path. But I think we should also look at the lessons learned inside the European Union. For example, I think moving to qualified majority voting in foreign policy is an important way to avoid systematic blockages as we've seen in the past.
Now, these systemic blockages move away from unanimous voting. They say they're moving to a new plan. Here is Chicago, United States of America, in one of these takeover or street takeovers that are just ramped up with violence, ramped up with attacks against people. A lot of people's daughters and sons go to these events thinking that it's just a group of people getting together, and then they get attacked here at these locations. Again, no law enforcement in sight. Here we have a NATO-linked attack inside of Ukraine. This was part of a Russian missile attack against a large warehouse that is used as a NATO logistics center for the Ukrainian army. As you watch this, I'm going to remind you that in states across the United States of America, they are right now overtaxing you for driving your vehicle because they say that your emissions count is too high and they need to get your carbon footprint down. We have these attacks on industry taking place across the USA and across the world, letting massive amounts of poisonous gas into the air. Sometimes it's chemical spills. Sometimes it is petroleum related. They will not point the finger at any country for doing this. They will continue to point the finger at you. Well, folks, you're watching Full Spectrum Survival, where every day I bring you the news so that you and your family can make educated decisions for how you will prepare for the unknown events of tomorrow. Please make sure that you share this video off-site, hype it, get it out to as many people as you can. Make sure you're subscribed. And check back tomorrow morning for more breaking news and headlines from America and from around the world. Until then, please stay safe.
All right, guys, hang on.
It started with one simple goal.
Chris, we can deploy it.
All right. Gonna talk to you guys in just a second. I'm trying to get the meat made. I had a bit of an accident out here. I'm fine. Thing is okay. I just about had a major issue though. That could have required me to call 911. You guys clean that up. I'm gonna do some of this. Nadia, please eat your food. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to mash up the meat because I used the potato masher to mash up like the ground beef or whatever ground meat for tacos and sloppy joes when I make it. Well, it slipped on the bottom of the pan and it like splashed on my shirt and I have a little bit of a red mark right there. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. It was just a little bit. I cleaned it up. The kitties are eating the meat off the floor that fell. Oh my gosh, that was all right. So what I want to talk to you guys about, I don't even know. Yeah, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is that first video where he was saying that we might only have about 3 to 6 months to get our gardens and stuff in. Or like get our house and property ready and that kind of thing for what's coming. I don't even know what's this. The stupid keyboard tray is broken. Yeah. Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my gosh. I had like this whole thing in my head that I was gonna talk about. If you haven't started your gardens, you need to. Container gardening, whatever. You need to get your garden started. Chloe said that her and Zach are going to be planting. And I'm trying to sit my big butt on this. Really? I hate this cord. Yeah, Chloe said that her and Zach are going to be planting their garden next week. Like I said, I had this whole thing that I was going to talk to you guys about, and I'm like, my brain is just not with me right now. Give me a minute. We'll continue this conversation in a minute. That little accident out there, like, totally
And Israel
drained
that
my
he
brain.
and Israel that he was quite possibly grievously.
Okay, so this
Good
one.
morning, everyone. You're watching.
Breaking geyser eruption, axis of evil destroyed. Iran warns entire Middle East, El Nino, and 10,000
Full
fires. I'm
Spectrum
not going to let
Survival
this
on
one
YouTube.
play
Iran's supreme
completely.
leader has declared that the Middle Eastern countries will no longer serve as shields of power for the United States of America, or as they call it, the great axis of evil, being the USA, Israel, and American allies. According to his direct quote, the supreme leader has said, "The nations and lands of the region will no longer serve as shields for American bases." Now, he has not appeared publicly, and there are claims through intelligence agencies with the USA and Israel that he was quite possibly grievously injured in the initial attacks that took place back in February. These comments are coming as the USA and Iran continue
I'm trying to
some
share
sort
it.
of proposed negotiation, but we have seen U.S. Central Command say that American forces have struck and will continue to strike missile sites in southern Iran and target boats. They say that these targeting boats were attempting to lay naval mines despite the ceasefire. Iran has not officially confirmed this, and we're starting to see some Iranian officials say that American Marines have been captured. If this turns out to be true, we're looking for the next escalation of World War III to take place. Here inside of America, we are headed for a financial crisis. Many people believe that the greatest danger is Washington's inability to respond effectively to the American people's needs. Federal debt has surged past 120%. We see growing deficits. The economy is heavily reliant on speculative growth and not real industry. A collapse, according to leading economists, will lead to a loss of confidence that triggers a debt spiral out of control. Now, foreign investors are already growing uneasy. We see them pulling out of U.S. Treasury bonds. They are borrowing in other currencies, and the Federal Reserve faces a very dangerous dilemma. They could raise rates and risk economic damage, or they could print more money and fuel inflation even higher by weakening the United States dollar. At the same time, Europe faces its own instability. We see China continuing policies that deepen their own global financial imbalance. Right now, the United States of America is suffering an El Nino event. 61% of our lower 48 states are already in a drought. 1.9 million acres just in the year 2026 have already burned to the ground. Active fires are happening as we speak in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and a handful of other states. A former federal fire chief put it out on open. He said, "We are in a fire year." Now, we put this on top of the warehouse fires and industry fires that we see happening all across our country. These could be attacks against our nation. According to the experts, the Super El Nino will be the strongest in recorded history, as they say that forecasting models every time a new one comes out, it's even stronger and it's even worse than the last one they looked at. They say that it is right now shifting planetary jet streams, it is supercharging heat, and it is driving drought deep into already parched American farmland. They project 65,000 to 80,000 wildfires this year that are directly associated to this. That's nearly double the 10-year average. And we're not even in August. We're not even in summer yet. Now, the firefighters on the ground, they already know this. So for you and your family, you need to take the time right now to make sure that you are ready. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is maybe for me one of the scariest, one of the worst positions that I have ever seen our country in. Listen for yourself.
Experts, a biolab in a suburban home garage.
Unless these things get raided, nobody's going to find them. It's not like we know that they're there.
Investigators say they were tipped off to one by someone who worked in the house. They raided it early Saturday morning. Video revealing the hundreds of samples collected in vials and jugs. Days later, police identifying this man, Ori Solomon, as the property manager.
We have no knowledge that he has any expertise or is in that area, or he's somewhat of a trained biologist. No.
Court records obtained by Channel 13 show he's in it.
So hold on a second. We have court records coming out saying that this guy is an alien inside of our country. We have court records showing that he is actively pursuing biological engineering. And listen to what happens next.
Israeli citizen here on a non-immigrant visa. Authorities say he works for a Chinese citizen who goes by the alias David Herr, who owns the home on Sugar Springs Drive. Herr is in a California jail charged following a 2023 investigation of an alleged illegal biolab in Reedley, California. Leaders there holding a press conference this week.
Pathogens, including samples of COVID-19. There was 1,000 transgenic mice that were there.
Investigators say much of what was found in that Fresno warehouse is consistent with.
Okay, as you watch this video, you can plainly see, as can I, that we are under an attack inside of our nation. They maybe haven't let go of the big disease that's going to wipe out a large portion of our population, but it sure looks like someone
working on
all right, let's see what else we've got to cover
seeing
today.
if I
This
can
is
get
a
that,
fire erupting at an apartment complex
Ways
following an
Remedies
explosion,
book.
according to reports. Here in this next video, we have a mushroom cloud lighting up over Lebanon.
That's not good.
And here moving forward, we have, this is strange. This should really make you say, okay, we are in different times right now. In this video right here, you see a brand new geyser, a geothermal vent that has opened up inside of a house, according to the reports, inside of Mexico. Now, tectonic experts and geothermists are said to be arriving on location right now. Officials say that they can't confirm whether this is an actual geyser or just an unknown geothermal eruption. But if you ask me, it's definitely some strange times. Listen to what the UN envoy to Russia has to say.
Okay, so $20.
Was warning in advance that had this started, it would attack the military infrastructure that the US built in those countries. And I'm telling them, you are the hostages of the American policy in the Middle East. And we were saying a long time ago that if something like that would happen, you will inevitably be, you will get into this crisis whether you want it, whether you are willing or not.
So there's Russia saying that they're about to pull everyone into World War III. Here we have a chemical explosion that took place at another point of industry, a paper mill inside of Washington State.
The family support process has been coordinated through operations remain on site, and we anticipate that to take for several hours and maybe the overnight period. Our next plan Communication update will be 7 p.m. this evening. I will take questions at this time.
How many injuries and how many fatalities?
Unknown number of fatalities at this moment. As we said, we have confirmed that there are fatalities, but the exact number is undetermined. Injuries, 10 persons.
So how is it that we have these events happening on almost a daily basis, and we don't have anyone in the government putting the pieces together? Remember when we started putting the pieces together about
Scott,
all those
too.
missing
They actually
scientists, and then the
personalize
government
it.
said, you know what, you're right, there's something worth looking into. And then they just brushed it off and said, you know, it doesn't look like it's any consequence to you. Well, folks, we're not in some sort of mythical world where they can just shake their eyes or shake their hand and say, those aren't the droids that you are looking for. But that's exactly what they try to do.
That's funny.
They tell us that they're looking into it. They give us no information. And then we're left to put the pieces together ourselves. Let's go ahead and look at what else is happening.
So how long is it going to be before we actually start to see some relief? Look at this. This is where we were before the war started. This is where we are right now. There's a huge...
They're saying it's not going to be until the year 2032 that we see a change in our cost of living. And I think that's just about the same time that a bigger economic crash is going to
So I'm
take
going to be
place.
spending $40 on
While I
these
gather
books.
information about today's survival tip, let's go ahead and take a quick listen to hear about Chapter. Today's episode of Full Spectrum Survival is brought to us by you, the viewer, and by Chapter. Everything that we do on this channel comes back to one thing: protecting your family, whether that's your food supply, your safety plan, or your finances. There is a large part of our families that are missing one thing, and that's long-term planning. Whether it's for you or another group member, if anyone in your life is on Medicare or about to be, we know that system is overwhelming. Chapter is the only Medicare advisor that compares every plan nationwide. They are independent. Their advisors are salaried. They look at what matters to you. In 20 minutes, even if you're already on the best plan for you, they're going to tell you. People with Chapter have saved an average of $1,100 on healthcare costs. This is free. There's no pressure. In under 20 minutes, you'll know. Call them at 610-900-4081 or use the link below. All right, in today's survival tip, we're talking about urban instability. Now, as urban instability becomes something that we have to pay attention to, and as unrest becomes a prolonged event, you're going to want your family to avoid moving through open streets. Avoid exposing yourself to intersections unless it's absolutely necessary. Marine infantry doctrine, law enforcement movement tactics, they all emphasize the same thing: concealment, route variation, and minimizing your exposure to elevated points of observation. Rooftops, parking structures, using windows and stairwells, these each create overwhelming and overlapping lines of sight. These can become increasingly dangerous during civil war or even during fragmented law enforcement response. Now, the objective in movement is not to appear intimidating, but to move in a way that minimizes your detection, minimizes your predictability, and minimizes your vulnerability.
Mandy, I'm sorry
for being here with us. Please make sure you're subscribed to Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube and share this offsite, x.com and Facebook.
Right.
Welcome back.
We're just going to go through these and then we're going to talk. I'm going to go back to that video and then we're going to talk about
problems that we have in our society is a so-called culture of pretending. People act like everything is just okay around them because other people are doing the exact same thing. They wake up every day. They work 40 hours a week. They do this for decades of their life, and they say that this is just what has to happen. Most people never stop to question the very system of slavery that they've been slipped into. Parents spend their entire lives accepting without challenge Then they pass this same mindset down to their children who say, you just have to do this. Now, whether people want to admit it or not, modern society depends on compliance. Well, I'm offering to you a different way of life, one in which you and your family can get out of the compliance of servitude, buy some land, grow your food, and get ready for what's coming. Let me go ahead and trace the timeline here for you because a lot of people aren't connecting this
I know
together.
it's been a minute.
In step
It's over an hour,
they
but
scraped the entire internet. They looked at every article on the news. They looked at every book. They read every conversation. They took images of every art, and they did it without asking and without paying. And then they trained this artificial intelligence on it. Now we look at BlackRock's Infrastructure Summit, in which they announced that we see a future in which intelligence is a utility. And they're going to treat it like electricity or water. You'll buy it from them on a metered gauge. This is where they sell our own knowledge back to us. They took collective human thought, they compressed it into a model, and now they're going to charge you by the token to get access to information. This is metered intelligence, and it's being abused and used against us. The newest information that we have is that the Iranians shot down a US MQ-9 drone fired at an F-35 and an RQ-4 drone.
So I'll probably have to.
They say this was a direct response to US strikes on Iran, and they considered this part of America's ceasefire violation. The Iranians say that they will continue to assert their legitimate and their definite right for retaliatory measures. Now, the Supreme Leader said that these countries, like we talked about in this morning's broadcast, will no longer shield the Americans from what comes next. We're seeing deadly clashes between the IRGC and Iraqi-based militias inside of Tehran. Reports are emerging of violent clashes inside of the Revolution Square. This involves Iranian security forces, with accounts claiming that tensions have erupted and about to start civil war. According to the local reports, the confrontation involved multiple security vehicles, shots being fired into the streets, the threats that are being armed against the people, and they're lasting days and days. This highlights growing tension, mistrust, and friction that is happening during this conflict. Goldman Sachs just released data showing that AI is roughly eliminating 25,000 US jobs per month over the last year, and they expect this to heavily increase in the next couple of years. The acting Secretary of the Navy told the Senate Appropriations Committee,
yeah, I apologize, you guys,
of a major geopolitical conflict. Global fertilizer is continuing to be a problem, but let's go ahead and look real quick at what we have happening in the world. The federal government is now calling anyone who doesn't adopt AI a threat to national security.
What are you guys doing?
Among the documents that were obtained by the source Wired, Intelligence and Counterterrorism Bureau reports warn of widespread upheaval against AI. A particular note, they say, is a novel term for extreme emerging threat. In a quote, they say the chaotic atmosphere that results from the emergent AI technology in the next 5 years will fuel large-scale protests. These will devolve into civil unrest. And you'll see anti-tech violent extremism increase, especially in urban areas. The term anti-tech violent extremism isn't anywhere on the DHS or the FBI. It's not on their domestic extremism reports. This is a novel grouping of American citizens who do not want their jobs taken away from them, their backyards filled up with electricity, their water prices to go up, and the ability to go out and hunt food to decrease. You are the next terror event. Folks, we're watching some other events, including, here's Germany. Now, I'm sure that you remember the Lederhosens of Germany and what the country used to look like. That's before they imported.
All right, we're going to go back and check out. We're going to go back to that video and talk about it.
Welcome back to the
Second
compound,
refresh my
everybody.
memory.
We've got a little bit of a problem, and I'm behind the curve here because AutoZone and multiple other outlets just said that they were running out of motor oil. This means for our vehicles, for our...
Okay, that is one of the things I really wanted to touch on.
Just because he's a kid doesn't mean he has to be handled with kid gloves. You want me to beat up on my own witness? Ruthie Miller loves to go for blood on cross. Open the door for her. See what happens.
Was in the stroller. He was crying. I renew my objection.
And yet this TV will start playing because it's connected. It's almost like it's connected to this one.
She told me she was just checking the mail.
When, if ever, did you see Miss Crenshaw?
That's so weird. All right. Places are running out of oil. And this is a thing because of all of the accidental fires, which there weren't accidents. If the major companies can't get oil, the supply chain is going to stop. What that means is that we can't go and get oil for our vehicles, our farm vehicles. This is one of the things he's talking about in the next 3 months. Within the next 3 months, we might not be able to get oil. Now, I think I'm going to make sure I get my oil changed in the van again before that time frame is up. I'm going to start stocking up on it off the store shelves, even if I have to, like go to Mullins and take it to them and have them, do it that way. But that also means food shortages. That means farm shortages, homestead supply shortages, farm animal shortages. And I mean feed, that kind of thing. So it's imperative that we can grow the food for our animals, which I've got to get the area ready for our chicken garden. I have not done that yet. I haven't even gone out and gotten our herbs. I've been having a lot of issues. Emotional, mental. I mean, you can see this is a result of that. I'm working on it. I really am. I've actually done fairly well today, except for some ice cream that I got from me and Scott earlier. Yeah, I'm gonna pull
tractors. We really need to top up right now. We're also putting
more.
together some tools that we need to build out the inside of my brother's house. He's building a house nearby because let me tell you, the family compound is really where it's going to be at in the next couple of months. I don't think that a lot of people are going to understand how bad this situation really is until they start to see shortages. Now, they're already expecting a 35% increase in the price and a 30% decrease in the availability of oil. I think we're going to get a lot worse. Right here, we are going to start putting in some potatoes. So I had never used this tiller before, just hooked it up to the PTO of the tractor, got into the dirt. We have some really beautiful, beautiful dirt here. So we're going to be putting in sweet potatoes.
They do have some really nice
thousands of pounds. Why I need thousands of pounds is in part because I right now am running off of the care system that has been developed by my family, which revolves around procrastination, just getting it done no matter what, whether you've got the skills or the previous experience or not. And I pretty much need these potatoes to grow by themselves. I needed a variation that could grow in the ground without irrigation in the current months that we are in. And we're going to go to the store today, get what we need. In 2 days, we're picking up the sweet potato slips and we're getting ready. Ran into a problem. We're really behind the curve here. I only have maybe 48 hours to get these sweet potato slips into the ground. My brother went and picked them up. He had to make what should have been a 2-hour trip. It actually turned into a 6-hour trip just because of traffic. And it seems like when you're trying to get everything going, there's just something that's going to kind of hinder your way a little bit. There's no fruit without sacrifice. While we were tilling up, we did get the oil, which is great because now the tractor and the trucks, they have the oil, even as all these corporations say that we're really in for a pinch. And in the next 6 months, we're going to have a big problem. While we were putting this hoe into the ground, you can see that it completely bent it. So we got kind of screwed in that position. And that means we have to find a local hydraulic press that's big enough to bend it back into position. We had
but I want to talk about different points
underneath the ground.
And I missed
they
that.
were about 6
So
inches
that's
down,
what we're doing.
but that wasn't going to stop our roots from our sweet potatoes from having a problem finding their rooting. So we had to have one of our good friends come out, and he has a large excavator. He came out and really tore this land apart where we're putting it here. Now remember, this is our interim garden. Our large garden is over there behind me, where we are going to create
sourdough
a terraced
starter, and I'm just
garden.
going to use my orange flour.
Terraced, like they have in Nepal, in other South American countries, where you actually step down terraces across the mountain. This allows natural water to flow over your plants. But right here, we really have no time left. I don't think that we have. If I could have done this 6 months ago, I would. I don't think we have 6 months left. So I'm kind of working every single day to try to get this done. He took out literal boulders from where we were planting that are deep underneath the ground. Because remember, we're in South Appalachia. So you have literal boulders in the ground. But he said, the ground's just right. He said these sweet potatoes are going to be the best that you and your family have ever had. And that's what we're hoping for. So right now we're on our way to get this hoe fixed and get it straightened out. Then we've got to get the rower back on the tractor. And then we've got to get back out there. And today we've got to get these in the ground. We're out here burning the midnight oil. We spent the time into the dark. Now, I guess there is a little bit of information on whether you plant at night, whether you plant under a full moon, you plant under a quarter moon. Honestly, we have the plants now, and we just have to get them into the ground. So we took and we have 5 rows that are each a little bit over 100 feet. We're doing drip irrigation because our well, thankfully, is a gusher. But we're just trying to work tonight to get as much as we can. We have the irrigation complete. Next step's getting the plants in the ground. Wouldn't you know, we have a flash flood warning in the area. We literally have no time left to get these in the ground. These are Alabama, Georgia sweet potatoes. Our hope for this yield right now is anywhere between 1,500 and 2,500 pounds for a family of 10.
Okay,
which is what
I'm just
me and
going
my
to use what
brother's
I
family
have.
is combined. We're looking at enough potatoes to fill us at least one full meal per day. Now we've got to get thinking about preservation because we have only, I guess, about 3.5 months until we have to get these up out of the ground. And this is a little bit experimental, like yours is going to be, because this is the first time that we've planted here. So we're just kind of waiting to see, ideally, and all the local farmers, and that's really why it's important for you to connect with local. They all say that you don't have to fertilize this ground for this crop. So that's really our hope there, is that we don't have to do any sort of additives to it. Thankfully, we were able to get deep enough under the ground that we could build the rows up. We overplanted a little bit. You're supposed to ideally, I guess, go about 12 inches apart. As it happens, we were able to find 8-inch spaced drip tape. This is supposed to be an irrigation-free crop. The drip tape is here as our last measure. If something goes wrong, if we have an extended drought, if El Nino, which they say it's the worst since the 1800s, if El Nino comes through and we don't have any water here, luckily we have a gusher of a well that we can push some water in a slow drip. But even that, even if you decide to do drip tape here, you're looking at maybe turning it on 2 times a week. 3 times a week, just in the overnight hours. And that's all you're going to need to do. We aren't doing any sort of cover on top. So you guys are watching the experiment with us. See what we can do to feed our families just off of what we have. We woke up today to a power outage in much of our area. And actually, a storm system came all the way through Birmingham and knocked out.
See, this is something, power outage, okay, you guys? They can happen anytime, okay? Set that down there. So it's like, are we ready? All right, I gotta do something. Oh, I've been so confused on the sourdough starter. I might pull up more than farmers after we get done. Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, I could add a little bit more flour to it. Yeah, like, are you ready to live without electricity? What will that look like for you? Do you have water? Do you have a source of water? Do you have a way to cook? I'm starting sourdough. I think I'm going to get parchment paper and use it instead of pretty bland. Oh, yes, I did just lick the spoon off. Actually, I'll lick off my finger. There's no flavor to it, really. Tasty flour, yummy. Oh, sorry, Katie. Uh-oh. What's up, Aaron?
What looked like a couple of 100 miles on each side of Birmingham. We're going to get the generator up and running here at the house. Luckily, we have the little house that's behind us completely backed up with the generator. Those are the tiny houses. And then, as you would know, we ran out of gas. So we did have some storage gas that we have some stabilizer in. Even though we're at 6-7 months, I said, well, you know what? Let's just go down to the gas station and pick up a new one. We can mix it half and half. Because even if it's a little bit more on the stale side of gas and you mix it half and half, you're at least going to get some of the fresh gas inside of it. And who knows? With the way that things are going with oil, the Iranian situation, everything that's happening there, we really have to consider what we're going to do in the long term. So this is a unit that will run off of both propane. It'll switch over here to propane, LPG, and we can run it off of just gasoline. So having those two options gives us exactly what we need. A little bit less pressure when things are starting to go wrong. Okay, the first step of the electric fence is in. So we have it right alongside the rows. Not enough that a deer could get its head in and get something. We do need to tighten it up just a little bit, but it's really all we can do. We're going to pick up the second one, which was delivered late, and we'll see how we get that in the ground. Let me tell you, they Chinese finger trap this. So us trying to get this unraveled and put in the ground was quite an ordeal. Man, we can't be happier than we are right now, and things are looking like we're going to need this garden much sooner than we had thought that we would. The price of food is about to experience about another 30% increase, and everything that you can do to get food in the ground right now, like we're doing behind us, sweating our butts out, going actually through whatever it takes to get it in the ground, knowing that our system of work is really the same exact as yours. You're probably better because I need help. I need help in my care system. Right now, we're running off of just getting it done, whether that's planting in a container.
See, that's us right now too. We're running off just getting it done. I have to go grab a rubber
companion
band.
plants in. Whatever we're going to do with this middle area here where we didn't have quite enough room to put a row, but we're going to add some extra planting in, maybe some mint, maybe just some kind of cover crop. And then we've got to get started because the time is ticking. And folks, when you're looking at everything that's happening in our world, from the Iranian crisis to what's going on over in China, to the fact that they are right now funding massive amounts of genetically modified food with new labeling systems that they don't even have to tell you that these foods are genetically modified, it's just time to make sure that your family has security. Security for us is the water that we drink, the food that we have, the physical security that we have on site, making sure that we are aware that this world is changing right now in so many ways that we have to make sure our kids are taken care of. And we are all also putting together some survival groups, some preparedness groups. So please, if you guys have land that you would like somebody to come on and help you, let us know down in the comments. We're kind of filtering through the different areas, letting everybody know, hey, this person needs a caretaker. This person needs, some companionship at their farm with their animals. That is where it's at. The next system of our economy is going to be bartering. It's going to be trading. It's going to be fixing the engines, replacing tires, knowing how to get the crop repaired, the soil repaired, knowing what kind of natural medicine you have in all of these trees that are around you, no matter what state, what city you're in across our country. That's where we're headed. So I want to thank you guys for being here with us. We're going to keep you guys full of information. The next thing is how we are building out my brother's house, getting a well put in, making sure that we have some backups for power over at our well site over here for the garden, putting in a new well pump. The whole thing is just kicking off. And I'm glad you're here while we do it. Thank you guys for joining. Make sure that you share this video, hype it if you have hype options down below. And until then, please stay safe.
Yeah, okay, so
At one point,
that was the video that gives that whole 3-month thing.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a lot to cover in this.
Can you guys be ready in 3 months? I'll be honest, I don't know if we can be. I'm going to work really hard on it. And I'm going to try to stay hyper-focused on that. It's already late. I really wanted to be able to get to bed, but I really wanted to get this live out there. I had to get the dinner. I'm not even eating it tonight. I'm just not. It's too late. I got my bread made, or started, I should say. I got my sourdough started. I have to finish mixing it up, though. I noticed there was some flour around the edge and the bottom. I'm going to start really focusing on doing the things that I need to do so I can get our family ready. And I'm going to keep getting information out there for you guys. I think what I'm going to do... I'm going to hit on these last two videos.
Good morning, everyone. You're watching
These
Full
were from
Spectrum
today.
The average American is still walking around like tomorrow is guaranteed to look like
Also, I'm
yesterday.
going to let this whole thing
Supply
play, but
chains are
there's one other
unstable,
video I want
global
to show you
tensions
guys.
are climbing, governments are posturing for conflict, and economic pressure is building not just on the everyday person, but every family across the USA. The people who survive the hard times that are coming are the people who do not panic when the shelves go empty. Today, we're going to break down some of what's happening in our world, why it matters directly to you, and what you should already be doing about it from inside of your own home. Outside, the crowds will be forming, there will be looting, the shelves will be stripped at the stores, and people who are ignoring the warning signs that we are talking about today will be the ones who come crying for help when it finally happens. The leaders of France and Norway have said that they will join together in a Paris-led nuclear deterrence system, one that they say bolsters security, but leaves the country of Russia saying that you are encroaching on national territory. We are contending, according to Norway and France, with the most serious security situation since the Second World War. That's the Prime Minister to Norway saying that. As him and the French President Emmanuel Macron announced that these two countries have now signed a defense pact that will see them launching nuclear weapons at Russia or any country should they become attacked. In the past 6 months, according to the report, these two nations have entered into a defense agreement. This goes along with Germany and the United Kingdom. And he says that they are pleased now to have signed a comprehensive agreement with France. Now, Macron did recently unveil this nuclear program in which the European Union's only nuclear-armed country would use its atomic stockpile to boost security. Here in the United States of America, let's talk about what the Federal Reserve just did. They said that the risks have tilted toward higher inflation early, and they say that clearly this is moving in the wrong direction. We are prepared, according to the Federal Reserve, to raise rates if expected disinflation doesn't happen in a timely manner. And that's their way of saying they don't know how long this inflationary period is going to last. I'm telling you it's going to be a long time because they warned us that it would only be 2 weeks back in 2021. The Fed says that we should be prepared to cut rates if the labor market deteriorates. Now, they also speak on what's coming for the Americans. I am optimistic, they warn, on economic growth, and I expect artificial intelligence to be the productivity booster. But AI job loss will precede AI gains. They say that this new system will enhance financial security and stability, but the implication of what's going to happen for the American people cannot be misunderstated. Reporters who are or have investigated those files that Trump and all of the U.S. administration was supposed to look into and release now say that they are fleeing the country due to allegations of directed energy weapon attacks against them. This is next level science fiction brought to you in today's news. American beekeepers are reported to have lost more than half of their bee colonies this year. Now they face a new challenge. The governments are closing key research facilities that have been the vanguard of research into bee deaths for over a century. The United States of America is accelerating efforts to bring foreign control to U.S. supply chains. Now, these efforts, during the signing of this India-U.S. critical mineral framework that was signed in New Delhi, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said that we cannot have single source monopolies that go against American interest. India, as a country, holds on to major rare earth reserves that they produce less than 1% of the global output. Folks, let's go ahead and take a look at what is happening in our world, including this video that discusses the United States of America and Ebola response.
That's another thing they've been talking about a lot.
We cannot and will not allow any cases of Ebola to enter the United States. And so the State Department and other agencies represented here, the Centers for Disease Control, HHS, others are working very, very hard to contain this crisis to the countries
Short
where it's
Circuit,
currently
I remember that
located,
movie.
the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so we've surged assistance to make sure that is being contained there. And obviously, multiple agencies involved here are also very involved in tracking people just to make sure that nobody comes into this country.
Now, in the U.S. state of Alabama, which hits a little bit too close to home for me, they did have a report of a hemorrhagic fever-like illness. This was, I believe, over in the region of Gadsden. They shut down the hospital. They didn't let any more ambulances come to the ER room. This got blown up. They said that it tested negative, but we are seeing reports all across our country that they're on the lookout for hemorrhagic fever, which makes you bleed out your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and ultimately it dissolves your organs and lets you just bleed out from the inside. Here we have AOC wearing traditional Muslim heritage regalia. She's with Mamdani in New York City.
For our neighbors, our community, and to this country, we can bring light for our neighbors.
So here she is wearing a hijab while he wears an Emiratis shirt. This is supposed to be, and you see all of the insignias and everything behind them. This is supposed to be a Memorial Day weekend. And what are they celebrating instead? The American company Zine has introduced what I have told you to look out for, shipping container released drones. Let's take a look. Now, it's been a couple of weeks, and I have told you that they are on the lookout. The FBI, multiple agencies, intelligence operatives, they believe that there are already shipping containers here inside of the United States of America that have these types of drone systems already on our shores. That's concerning to me because these types of systems we have no defense for right now. This is on one of the missing researchers. This is a lot of people who had access to the space program, nuclear technology. New information is coming out, and this information says that the UFO-linked Air Force general, who is now missing, was linked to classified programs, and according to body cam audio, he had dinner with members of U.S. Space Force the night before he disappeared. In a quote, they say he has a very classified security clearance. He was the head of Air Force Research Labs. The man's names are in the UFO document that are about to be released because this was a body cam right before the release. He's been that in-depth. He has very high security clearance. They already have a list of hostile folks that are on the programs, and unfortunately, one of those individuals, they say, is currently missing. So, folks, you're watching Full Spectrum Survival, where we bring you the real news. Here's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're doing very well. I think they are starting to give us the things that they have to give us. And if they do, that's great. And if they won't, then the man on my left is going to finish them off.
The man on Donald Trump's left is no other than the U.S. Secretary of War. We have Pete Hegseth. Now, Donald Trump's claims that they are right now engaging in a transfer of nuclear material, the enriched uranium, are false, according to all of the reports that I can find. Iran has completely rejected that the United States of America will have access to their enriched uranium, and this is, as we know it right now, the hard line. This is a time where we will not see the United States of America and Iran agree. Now, this means that the only two options here are for the USA to say, you're right, we didn't want it in the first place. You can go ahead and keep it, even though we acknowledged that you were just weeks away from making a nuclear weapon. Or we go in militarily and we take it from their hands. Now, Donald Trump is reportedly prepared to do each one of those things. Let's see what else he has to say.
Frame in your mind?
What?
Is there a time frame in your mind for?
I mean, it happens quickly. The problem is every time I mention a time frame, for instance, I see, we've been doing this for a few months. Vietnam lasted 19 years. Korea lasted 8 years. Afghanistan lasted.
And what you can see there is them setting this up to be a long duration conflict. Folks, you're watching Full Spectrum Survival, and while I gather some information about today's survival tip, we're going to take a quick moment to hear about Chapter. Today's episode of Full Spectrum Survival is brought to us by you, the viewer, and by Chapter. Everything that we do on this channel comes back to one thing: protecting your family, whether that's your food supply, your safety plan, or your finances. There is a large part of our families that are missing one thing, and that's long-term planning. Whether it's for you or another group member, if anyone in your life is on Medicare or about to be, we know that system is overwhelming. Chapter is the only Medicare advisor that compares every plan nationwide. They are independent. Their advisors are salaried. They look at what matters to you. In 20 minutes, even if you're already on the best plan for you, they're going to tell you. People with Chapter have saved an average of $1,100 on healthcare costs. This is free. There's no pressure. In under 20 minutes, you'll know. Call them at 610-900-4081 or use the link below.
I can get those.
Okay, today's survival tip: effective hidden food production prioritizes concealment, and it also prioritizes the environmental integration over visual efficiency. This is about guerrilla gardening, because as the grid continues to worsen, if we see attacks in the social realm, you're going to see people raiding other people's cattle farms, their chicken houses, and their gardens. Resistance groups, rural survivalists, or unconventional operators have long understood that dispersed and naturally blended food sources survive much longer than highly organized and street visible gardens. You're going to want to start incorporating edible plants into your fence lines. Look at areas of overgrowth and see what can be planted in those areas. Decorative landscape that can also be used as food production. And anywhere that you have unmanaged terrain. These are areas that are going to cause less attention, significantly less, than a large garden surrounded by a fence. Concealing your sustainable calorie source is strategically more valuable to you and your family than a large production that becomes identified by everyone passing by as a source for them to come and get food. So think about it and maybe comment down below how you will use guerrilla gardening or strategically hidden gardening, and see what kind of ideas we can come up with together. You're watching Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube. Every day I bring you the news so that you and your family can make concise decisions. Please make sure that you're subscribed, share the video off-site, x.com and Facebook. Please hype this video. Until this afternoon at 2 p.m., make sure you're checking back then for that next video we're releasing. Please stay safe. Keep watch.
So that was this morning. This was this afternoon.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a lot to cover in this afternoon's broadcast. I want to go ahead and get right into it. Here's what Marco Rubio said about America's
setup.
Our next engagement. We have Iran. We took Venezuela.
I probably won't let this whole thing play because there's one other video I want to pull up for you guys.
This is a fight for America to remain strong in World War III. Let's hear what Rubio has to say.
He was in a lot of trouble because, unfortunately for them, it's run by a bunch of incompetent communists. Being communist is bad. Being an incompetent communist is like the worst. And but the country's been taken over by this company called Gaesa that basically controls 70% of the economy. None of the money in that company goes to help the Cuban people. None of it. So we'll be talking to them. We'll be working on it. You know, we want something good for the Cuban people, and hopefully there'll be a good outcome there for them. There needs to be. It's 90 miles from our shore.
Anybody watching this video, please tell me below. It'd be a great talking point what this red button right in front of Donald Trump is. Let's go ahead and engage in that, because we need to understand that the United States of America has set any time for something large to happen, and him being prepared to press that red button is no different than you and your family being prepared to go when something bad happens in your direct area of operation. So Marco Rubio says that the communist nation of Cuba is under duress, and America is going to be there to help them next.
I'm going to bring them to their knees. And so whether it's their Navy that's at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, their Air Force, their air defenses, or their defense industrial base, they may have missiles, but they can't build more right now. And they can't build more drones right now. And they can't build more ships. And so they came and cried uncle to talk, which Steve and Jared and the vice president and others are doing so ably. And during that time, we put in a world-class blockade. I'm going to bring them to their knees.
So that's the Department of War saying that we will bring our enemies to their knees. And here's Donald Trump speaking on the Strait of Hormuz. Now, there's a lot of information that suggests we actually do need their oil for AI. We do need control over the Strait of Hormuz to control the oil that goes to our enemies and our allies. Let's listen to the president himself.
The strait's going to be open to everybody. It's international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave just like everybody else, and we'll have to blow them up. They understand that. They'll be fine. No.
So he says that Oman will behave or we will blow them up. The president of the United States of America making another threat against a nation. Now, here's a group of Chinese special interest aliens. I've told you for a long time that we have operators that are working together with high state level operations inside of the USA. This is at the southern border in Texas. You take a look and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
Got it bailing out right now.
So why do we have these illegal aliens at the border in Texas that have state level operations? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait to find out, because they're trying to tell us that there's nothing wrong with it. And yet they're fighting a war against domestic problems like we're already in civil unrest. Here we have video of a massive sinkhole opening up inside of, I believe this was China.
Number one priority of our foreign policy is to protect the American people.
Here's flooding in Mexico as people say that El Nino's effects are already being felt. They say they are warning about what this year is going to look like for us. The understanding from weather experts is that we across America are going to see a shift from flooding to drought to flooding to drought. And what they're saying is that our crops are going to get ruined in the meantime. So your food production, your ability to shelter that food production is probably one of your largest priorities. Here we have yet another industrial fire, this time in Taiwan. So we've had New York, California, Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia pipelines, Louisiana. We have these events happening all across America, and we have them happening all across the world. So we're watching these potential sabotage events take place. Here we have more worry about the honeybees.
Well, the bees are dying. They were claiming catastrophic, historic losses this last year.
That's not good either,
all bees, all honeybees in the U.S. just dead. They're gone. Cornell University, they have a hunch. Their hunch is that it's neonicotinoids and pesticides in monocrop farming. Well, I'm here to tell you, I don't have a hunch. I know what it is. I went to Cornell University to get my master beekeepers. My final paper was on neonicotinoid. Neonicotinoid is a type of pesticide that is extremely strong, so it makes it extremely effective. It lives.
Here we have a visual of what you never want to see. This is a hotel with a person inside of India suspected of having hemorrhagic fever. Look at the level of protection as these individuals come in. They'll lock you inside of your hotel room. If you're on a cruise ship, they'll lock you down. They will close down an entire hotel and keep you with another infected person. That's why Marco Rubio in this morning's broadcast made it so clear that they do not want Ebola inside the United States of America. The measures are already put in place to completely lock down areas, buildings, cities if necessary. They will stop the mode of transportation, interstate transportation. They're prepared to do it. So we in the community, survival community, have to be prepared for what comes next.
Incredible capabilities from commercial industry to build a moon base. We are leveraging the NASA playbook from the 1960s, figuring out what works and what doesn't in this epic science of survival, because the moon base is as beautiful as it is hostile.
Okay.
Why is there such a push to get Americans off site? They want to have Americans living off.
All right, so you guys get the gist of this. There is, again, another video I really wanted to show, but I think I might just do a separate video on that tomorrow because it is getting so late and I have to get myself ready to go to bed. I really do. It's on dog food, pet food. I will show you guys. I'll, again, do another video on that tomorrow. I was going through and finding things on Thrive that I want to make sure I add. But yeah, I'll do another video on the pet food tomorrow. Cause like I said, because it is getting late. I mean, I don't know. I could do it. Nah, it might get paid more attention to if I do a separate video. So.
Are you live right now?
Yeah. No, I got started late. What? I'm about ready to get done with it. Give me that look. Thank you for that, Aaron.
Shush, dog. Ow. I think I'm gonna have to get my cat some food tomorrow.
Stupid thing. Nebula. Every time you come back, she thinks that she needs you to take her outside. See? And she did go to the bathroom. Yeah, for some reason I thought we were almost out of them. And then when I went to do our egg wraps, I looked at the cupboard and I'm like, there's basically a full bag. Oh. No, I haven't even had any. And I probably won't because it's almost 11 o'clock here and I'm not going to eat this late. I don't stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning.
When did you get it around?
9 o'clock.
What takes so long?
Because I fell asleep earlier.
That long?
I fell asleep. I didn't even wake up until almost 7. And then I went downtown because I needed some kind of caffeine.
You really must have been exhausted.
I didn't get enough sleep last night, and I cannot take melatonin.
Oh, did you take some last night?
Yep. That's what did me in all day today.
You got like half the dose.
I'm not even going to worry about it. I don't need it tonight anyway, so. Yeah, guys. Hi, Mandy.
I completely forgot you were going to make this.
I almost forgot to make it.
Aww, the babies are so cute.
They are.
Not getting any human food, dog.
Nebula, stop begging, please.
I made her those eggs this morning, and she's gotten like this.
She was like that before.
Yeah, but she's especially bad whenever you give her some.
Nebula, no. Quit begging. You guys will see what I mean on the pet food when I show you guys that video tomorrow.
Is Cinnamon on the porch?
She's actually upstairs. I let her up there to get her away from the kitties because she was literally trying to climb walls. Come on, Cinnamon. Excuse me, Missy. You don't need to go up there. No. Char, no. Darn it. No. Skin down. And Char's thinking she has to go up there.
And
that was the other thing I was going to look for, but hang on, guys.
Hi, Garfield.
For a minute, I thought you were talking to Cream. I'm like, dude, are you on drugs?
Oh, Cuddles was purring too.
I had noisy purring earlier.
Look at Cream. Oh, Panda's needing. Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Hi, baby.
Cute.
I sent Chloe some photos of him earlier, and she was like, oh, cute.
Okay. That gets us down to what I had before. Okay.
The cat food, dog.
Nebula! No! I'm gonna take her outside and then put her in the crate. My phone's about to die too. No!
Aaron, the leash is on the.
Oh, it's right.
I know it was your cat. Cupcake from the porch.
What? No!
She must have snuck in with me and Devin.
All right. So yeah, I will show you guys the other video tomorrow. Like I said, it's on pet food. I will actually show you guys what it is, just to give you a sneak peek.
Let me go get it.
It's
in the bedroom. Look out.
I'm sure that it'll get more attention if I wait until tomorrow and do a separate video on that. And my battery's running low. Alrighty then. Try to find it. It's right here. This one right here, pet food scam. Won't believe what they're really feeding our animals. So, but I'm gonna have to take this computer back into the kitchen and get it plugged in because my battery is running low. So I will finish this out there. Crap! Cat!
You're gonna need to charge us, by the way. It's at 60%.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta move my stuff too, because I gotta plug this computer in like right now. Got crap all over the place, crap in the way.
I'm not gonna have right now.
You mean a wrap? Scott, burritos or beans? Not tacos.
What? What?
She wants attention as always. Don't know what I was thinking. Here.
But what? Oh.
Putting those bowls up there. I'm gonna have to make space on the counter or something. Actually, that needs to get cleaned off because I'll put the bowls of bread up there.
Okay.
All right, so again, I will do another video tomorrow night. Or tomorrow night. No, tomorrow. Probably in the morning. And I will show you guys that. Very enlightening for me, to the point to where I am going to really work on getting Nebula on real food. So, and you guys will see why when I show you the video tomorrow. Get your garden started, you guys. Keep an eye on your subscriptions. YouTube has added again. They unsubscribed one of my subscribers. Keep an eye on them. Click on that notification bell. Click on all to make sure you get all the notifications. And like and share the videos. It's so important to get this information out there. Do your research. Get your homesteading books. Get on Amazon. Look up homesteading books. Come up with thousands of them. You'll have to move that chair. I was sitting in it. Oh, okay. Yeah, get your homesteading books. It's so important to have it in books. Gardening. I will probably take my phone out tomorrow and do a video out there. I've been really working on trying to get the strawberry patch cleaned out, the pineberry bed. It's kind of hard for me to get down there and stay down there for very long because I can't really sit on my knees for that long. But I'll get it cleaned out. I will get it cleaned out. I'm going to keep at it a little every day. Garden is looking very nice. We've got peas and beans coming up and arugula. So probably going to work on watering. Again, I'm also going to have to get I'm going to get a couple of boxes, and I'm going to get the stinging nettle and the cleavers. And I think there's another one out now. Don't remember what it was, but there's another one out now. Plantain. I might wait on that, though, because some of it's kind of small. I might get some of the bigger ones and just make a snack for myself. But I got to work on the other gardens as well. I have not figured out what I'm going to do with my herb gardens. There's so many weeds in that one. I might just have to dig the dirt out, try to get a lot of that grass root out and that kind of thing. Get another bag of potting soil and fill the top of it with potting soil and then plant my herbs in it. So, but I'll probably do a video out there tomorrow on, the gardening and how that's coming. And we'll go over some other things, but I will do that other video in the morning. And you guys have a good night. Keep your heads up. Do that research. Get your homesteading books. Work on getting your gardens and your homesteads going. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Bye, Mandy. I know that's who that is.